Looks like there's some folks that are also famous from this town besides Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens. Bill Lear, he was famous for founding Learjet. He also invented the battery eliminator for the B battery, developed the 8-track cartridge, and received over 120 patents. Lear's a member of the National Aviation Hall of Fame. He's from Hannibal? Cool. Eagle Eye Beckley. Jacob Peter Eagle Eye Beckley was born in Hannibal in 1867. He played professional baseball from 1888 to 1907. To this day, Beckley holds the MLB record for putouts with 23,743 and ranks fourth with 244 triples. Eagle Eye played for the New York Giants, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Cincinnati Reds. He was inducted to the Professional Baseball Hall of Fame in 1971. Gabba's Girls. Born in Hannibal, Lester Gabba competed in soap sculpting, scrappy soaps competition for Procter & Gamble at age 10. It was then that he decided he wanted to be a soap sculptor. In New York in 1932, Lester designed Cynthia, a lifelike mannequin for Saks Fifth Avenue. Before long, brands like Cartier and Tiffany were outfitting what became known as Gabba's Girls. Lester and Cynthia once posed for Life magazine. Interesting. Gideon's Trumpet. Clarence Earl Gideon, born in Hannibal, Missouri in 1910, was accused of theft in Florida in 1961. Forced to defend himself, he was found guilty in his second trial in 1963 with the pretense of a criminal having the right to an attorney even if they cannot afford one. With a court-appointed lawyer, he was acquitted. The case has been immortalized in a 1964 book by Anthony Lewis, Gideon's Trumpet, and the 1980 made-for-television drama of the same name starring Henry Fonda. And also interesting, Ukulele Ike, born in Hannibal, Clifton Avon Cliff Edwards, nicknamed Ukulele Ike, was an American musician, singer, and actor that can be heard in renditions of pop standards and novelty tunes such as Singin' in the Rain in 1929. He was also the voice of Jiminy Cricket in Walt Disney's Pinocchio in 1940 and Dandy Jim Crow in Walt Disney's Dumbo in 1941. Cool. I always say Jiminy Crickets. Jiminy Crickets. Hannibal, Missouri. Marie Roof Byram of Hannibal made history on August 31st, 1920, when she became the first woman in the United States to exercise her right to vote, just 5 days after President Woodrow Wilson signed into law the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. I should probably keep my opinion of that last one to myself. Okay, guys, so I stopped in this little marine shop here in Hannibal, Jack's. I wasn't even sure if it was open. I kind of saw it from a couple blocks away, and it just looks like one of those places that might be open, it might not. Well, it is. I walked in there. This guy, I got, I'm usually pretty, impervious to the upsell, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm buying something, and they're like, well, you want this? You want this? And I'm pretty good at saying no. But I ended up, this guy's prices were better than online, better than Amazon. I got a spare prop. Now it's not new, but it's in better shape than the one that's currently on it now after clipping a couple things. I got some spark plugs, which I should have had before I left. I got two fuel filters. There's two fuel filters on the hood of that motor. One's fine, one's not so fine. Got those. Great prices. I got two oil filters, so I can just do oil changes on the way. What else did I get? I got, and there's these fishermen in there. All these marine places, they always have these old timers just hang out all day. If they're not fishing, they're in there hanging out, just telling their fish stories, right? And I started asking him, like, is there catfish all over the place? He's like, all over the place. I'm like, I should be casting every night. He's like, yes. He goes in the back. He comes out with this styrofoam cup full of the stinkiest stuff you have ever smelled. Disgusting. It's a secret ingredient sauce that no one will ever tell. It's made in Iowa or something like that, I think he said. And he's like, he gave me a couple of these. I'll show you here on the video. And he's like, dip these in there. And he showed me the setup. He's like, cast it out. You will catch a catfish. All the time, every day. You'll catch catfish until you don't even know what to do with them anymore. I'm like, yes. So I scored. I spent $180, but the stuff I got, peace of mind. I am set. And unless it's some unforeseen circumstances, we are good to go. I'm going to show you guys this old baseball field, community baseball field, but it's more than a community baseball field. It was probably some kind of minor league baseball. Then it's right here at the edge of downtown. It's right next to the railroad tracks. And you had a lot of, I mean, this was probably, one of the things that families did, back in the day. This was more than just Little League. This was like a minor league baseball team. So let me show you what I mean. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to get into. I have seen a way I can, kind of scootle over a fence, but I'm not going to do that because I don't really need to show you guys what we're talking about here. But there is the bleachers. So that was where some of the fans sat. The entire field has this rather impressive stone barrier around it, more than a fence. This was probably where one of the gates was. Here's the turnstiles. Let me show you. Pull the turnstiles out. And they had advertising on the wall. It probably was, used up until fairly recently. I would say maybe in the past 20 years or so. I'll try to look it up. There was like concessions. That's probably what those buildings are. Let me take you around the other side here. I'm going to use my selfie stick, guys, and hop you over the fence here, and I'll see what you're seeing later. That's Clemens Fields. Quick story time with Brenton here. So when I was a kid back in Grass Valley, California, they used to have dirt track racing, like they call them sprint cars with the big wings on them, and they just kind of do circles. In retrospect, I don't see why anyone thought that was exciting, but there was an overpass. They had it's at the fairgrounds, and it was it was popular back in the day in the 80s and 90s probably. And people would fill the stands and go watch the dirt track races or the sprint car races. There was even some local celebrities. I can almost remember, I think I had a shirt or something of one of the best drivers. And there was an overpass nearby, and people started sitting on top of the overpass and watching the races. And the announcer sometimes would say, everybody in the stands, turn around at the same time and give the people on the overpass the finger, and they'd all just stand up and go, bah! And yell at the people in the overpass because they were, getting a free show or whatever. So kind of reminds me of that. I'm sure people tried to sit up on the bridge and watch the local baseball team, the fast pitchers or whatever they were called, and not pay and not get their hot dog. And also, I haven't done laundry since I've started this trip, and I'm out of t-shirts. I usually carry a lot of t-shirts, they're real easy, but all mine are just finally so dirty I gotta stop and do some laundry. And we're walking around here today, and I see this sign pointing to this basement room in an old brick building from 100 years ago, and the sign says, t-shirts, $1. It's a temporary shop, I'll show you. And it's full of t-shirts. Probably, thrift store throwaways or whatever. I don't care. I'm going to go in there and buy 3, 4, 5 t-shirts for $3, $4, $5. And I can go without doing my laundry for another week or two. You done?